There are wounds in football that never really heal. They just scar over. And every time the World Cup rolls back around, they split open again. If the history of the game were a novel, then the summer of '94 in the United States would be its darkest chapter. And right at the center of it all stood a man with ocean-deep eyes, a signature ponytail, and a kind of fragile brilliance that felt almost too human for a stage that demanded perfection. He dragged an entire nation back from the brink, only to watch it all slip away at the edge of glory. People called Roberto Baggio Il Divine Codino, the divine ponytail. But in truth, he felt less like a god and more like a martyr. His story at the 1994 World Cup didn't begin with that infamous penalty in Pasadena. It began with expectation, crushing, suffocating expectation from a country where football isn't just a sport, it's religion. The summer of '94 hit different. The US host the World Cup with blazing heat, massive stadiums, and a vibe that felt both foreign and electric. Italy showed up as one of the heavyweights, a proper footballing giant. And on their back was Baggio, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner, the best player on the planet. This was supposed to be his tournament, his coronation. But football doesn't always follow the script. Italy's group stage? A mess, straight up. They got picked apart by Ireland, scraped past Norway, and then limped to a draw against Mexico. They didn't cruise through, they barely made it out, sneaking into the knockouts as one of the best third-place teams. And Baggio? He was catching heat from everywhere. Critics were calling him lazy, overrated, a club baller who couldn't show up on the international stage. At one point, coach Arrigo Sacchi even hauled him off mid-game against Norway, a move that felt like a public humiliation for a player of his caliber. Everything seemed to be falling apart.
But here's the thing about legends.
They don't show up when it's easy. They show up when everything's on fire. Round of 16. Italy versus Nigeria in Boston. And man, this is where the story flips. Italy were down. Down bad. A man down too. Time ticking away. 88th minute. Fans already mentally checking out, thinking it's over. Bags packed. Dreams gone. Then out of nowhere, Baggio. He ghosts into the box, keeps it simple, slots it home. 1-1. No fancy stuff, no highlight reel madness, just pure clutch, ice in his veins. Extra time, pressure through the roof. Italy win a penalty. Guess who steps up? Baggio again. Calm, composed, buries it. Italy survive. That wasn't just a goal, that was a resurrection. From that moment on, USA '94 stopped being a World Cup and turned into the Roberto Baggio show. Quarterfinal versus Spain. Tight game, proper scrap. Then late on, Baggio steps up again, rounds the keeper, finishes like it's training ground stuff. Cold, clinical, game over. Italy through. Semi-final versus Bulgaria. And this time, he doesn't just show up, he takes over. 2 goals in 5 minutes. Bang. Bang. Done. Dreams shattered for Bulgaria, and Italy are in the final. 5 goals in 3 knockout games. Let that sink in. This wasn't just form. This was a man on a mission. A one-man carry job at the highest level. He wasn't just playing football, he was putting on a masterclass, writing his own myth in real time. Italy fell in love. Hard. To them, he wasn't just a player anymore, he was their savior. But what most people didn't see, behind the scenes, his body was breaking down. His hamstring was shot, every sprint hurt, Every touch came with pain. He was literally patched up, pumped full of painkillers just to get out there. He wasn't 100%, not even close. And still, he kept going. Because that's what legends do. July 17th, 1994, Pasadena.
The Rose Bowl felt like a furnace.
36 degrees Celsius heat, no shade, just relentless sun beating down on two exhausted teams. Italy versus Brazil. Heavyweight fight, both chasing their fourth star. This wasn't just a final, it was legacy on the line. But instead of fireworks, we got a war of nerves. 120 minutes, no goals, players running on fumes, every pass cautious, every move calculated. Nobody wanted to be the one who messed up. So it came down to penalties, the cruelest way to decide anything in football. Italy stumble early. Franco Baresi skies his. Daniele Massaro gets denied. Brazil? Not perfect either, but they hold their nerve. Romario, Branco, Dunga. They step up, they deliver. 3-2, Brazil. And now, it all comes down to one man, Roberto Baggio. You couldn't script it any better, or any crueler. The same guy who dragged Italy through the mud, who carried them on his back, now standing over the ball with everything on the line. Redemption or heartbreak, hero or villain, all decided in one kick. He places the ball, takes a few steps back, and for a moment, the world just stops. Back in Italy, people are glued to their screens, bars, living rooms, streets, dead silent. Some praying, some holding their breath, everyone believing, because if there's one guy you trust in this moment, it's him. Baggio steps up, runs, hits it, and the ball keeps rising, over the bar, into the California sky. Not saved, not deflected, just gone. And just like that, it's over. Brazil erupt behind him, pure chaos, limbs everywhere, joy exploding. But Baggio? He stands still, head down, hands on hips, ponytail hanging, frozen. That image, that exact frame, became one of the most iconic and heartbreaking moments in football history. A man who had been everything, hero, leader, savior, now standing alone in silence while the world moved on without him. He didn't collapse, didn't scream, didn't cry. He just stood there.
Because some pain
Goes beyond tears. Later, in his autobiography, he admitted that moment never left him. Not for a day, not for a second. It followed him. Every night, every memory. A shadow he couldn't shake. And the crowd? Football can be ruthless. The same fans who worshipped him days earlier turned on him, called him the villain, blamed him for everything. They forgot the 5 goals, forgot the miracle run, forgot the pain he played through. All they saw was the miss. But real football fans, the ones who love the game for what it is, they saw something else. They saw beauty in the tragedy. Because Baggio wasn't weak. He didn't choke. He didn't hide. He stepped up. He took the shot. He owned the moment, even when it broke him. Years passed. Italy would rise again, win the World Cup in 2006, rewrite their story. But for Baggio, 94 never faded. It stayed with him, not as failure, but as a scar, a reminder.
he played for giants.
Juventus, AC Milan, Inter, built a career most players would dream of. But his most powerful image? Still that one moment in blue under the California sun. People say if he scored that penalty, he'd be perfect. untouchable. But maybe, just maybe, it's because he missed that he became something more. Not just a legend, but a human one. A king without a crown. A genius marked by pain. A story that hits harder because it's real. Because at the end of the day, Baggio didn't lose the fans. He won them. That ball may have flown into the sky, but it carried something with it. A piece of brilliance too pure, too fragile to be contained by a net. And even now, decades later, when people look back, they don't just see a missed penalty. They see a man who gave everything, and in doing so, became unforgettable.